Throughout the years, the LMH and LMDH regulations have so far brought a total of 15 car manufacturers to compete in the WEC and IMSA in events like the 24 Hours of Le Mans, for example. But what are the details of all of these programs, such as the cars, teams, racing debuts, and so on? Well, in this video, I'll be talking about this information, as this is a breakdown of each and every hypercar program existing in the past, present, or future. Number 1. Acura. Acura's car, named the ARX06, only competes in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, and not in the WEC. The car is based around the LMDH regulations, uses an Oreca chassis, has a hybrid, and utilizes a 2.4-liter twin-turbocharged V6 engine. After returning to IMSA following a successful campaign in the previous DPI era, Acura made their return in 2023, joining the new GTP class, and their LMDH Challenger made its international debut at the Rolex 24 at Daytona that very same year. And the ARX06 ended up winning on debut with a 1-2 result in IMSA's biggest endurance race. Currently in 2025, 2 Acuras are competing full-time in racing, and both are entered by the Ohio-based team of Meyer-Shank Racing. Next at number 2 is Alpine, and in fact, the French constructor has a reverse schedule compared to Acura, as they only compete in the World Endurance Championship, and are not present at all in IMSA quite yet. Alpine's car, which is named the A424, is built around the LMDH regulations, is the second car using a chassis from Oreca, has a hybrid, and uses a Mechachrome-built 3.4-liter turbocharged V6 engine. The French hypercar made its debut in 2024 at the WEC Qatar 1812 km event, but this wasn't Alpine's first appearance in the hypercar class, as previously in 2021 and 2022 respectively, they entered a grandfathered LMP1 car, known as the A480, and the entry picked up 2 wins, one at Sebring and the other at Monza, and both were secured in 2022. Currently in 2025, 2 Alpine A424s compete in the WEC, and both are entered by the Signatech Alpine Endurance team. At number 3 is Aston Martin, and the British manufacturer is the first brand on this list that competes in both the WEC and IMSA simultaneously. The car, which is called the Valkyrie AMR LMH, is based around the Le Mans hypercar regulations as it says in the name. The car does not have a hybrid, as that's an option for LMH cars, while the powertrain is a Cosworth-built 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12. Aston Martin's hypercar will debut at the 2025 Qatar 1812 km event, and currently 3 cars are set to compete across the WEC and IMSA championships, and all of them are being run by longtime Aston Martin squad, the Heart of Racing team. The Valkyrie AMR LMH has actually broken many records, and there's a lot more I could say about it, but I won't go further in detail here. Instead, you can find more information in the video linked in the top right corner and in the description as well. Number 4. BMW. The Bavarian-based automaker currently competes in both the WEC and IMSA with their car named the M Hybrid V8. The details of BMW's prototype include being based around the LMDH rule set, the car has a Dallara chassis, has a hybrid, and finally utilizes a 4.0-liter twin-turbocharged V8 engine. The car made its international debut in 2023 at the Rolex 24 at Daytona in the IMSA GTP category, and a year later it came over to the WEC hypercar class, and along the way, the hypercar achieved a few good results, including a 1-2 finish at the TireRack.com Battle on the Bricks at Indy in 2024, when the number 24 BMW took overall victory. Currently, 4 BMW M Hybrid V8s compete in racing full-time. 2 are entered by Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing for IMSA use, while Belgian squad Team WRT runs 2 cars full-time in the World Endurance Championship and at Le Mans. Next up at number 5 is Cadillac. Cadillac's prototype machine, the V Series R, competes full-time in both the World Endurance Championship and the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. It's based around the LMDH regulations and, like the BMW, has a Dallara chassis. The car has a hybrid component and is regarded as the best sounding machine out of all the entries on the grid, and that's because of that massive 5.5 liter naturally aspirated V8 engine in the American car. Like the Acura and BMW I mentioned beforehand, this car made its international debut in 2023 at the Rolex 24 at Daytona, where the Chip Ganassi entry picked up 3rd place overall. Currently in 2025, there are 5 Cadillacs competing full-time in endurance racing competition, and they are entered by 3 separate teams, including 3 entries in IMSA, 2 from Wayne Taylor Racing and 1 from Action Express Racing, while 2 cars are racing in the WEC from the British squad Hertz team Jota. Number 6. Ferrari. The 3rd most successful brand at Le Mans currently competes in the World Endurance Championship in the Hypercar class, but not over in IMSA just yet. Ferrari's car, which is named the 499P, is based around the LMH regulations, has a hybrid, and features a 3.0-liter twin-turbocharged V6 engine. The car made its international debut at the 2023 WEC season opener of the 1,000 miles of Sebring, and currently 3 499P entries are racing full-time, and all are entered by the AF Corsa team. Although one of those entries in 2025, the number 83 yellow Ferrari, is classified as a privateer entry. Next up at number 7 is Ford. The most recent manufacturer to confirm a program, Ford, is back in prototype racing at the 24 Hours of Le Mans for the very first time since 1982. And so far, the Blue Oval has only confirmed to be racing in the WEC Hypercar class, and not in IMSA quite yet. But an announcement from Ford Performance is imminent on a GTP program. However, not much is known on the details of Ford's prototype, despite it being based around the LMDH rule set. But we do know for a fact that the car will make its international debut in 2027, most likely at the WEC season opener, which could be at Qatar once again. Moving on, and at number 8 is Genesis. This is another manufacturer who has recently committed to the rules, and Genesis, which is a division of the larger South Korean automaker Hyundai, has confirmed to enter both the WEC and IMSA with their new prototype. Speaking of their car, it will be called the GMR 001. The car is based around the LMDH regulations, it will have a chassis from Orica, it will have a hybrid since it's an LMDH, and the car will utilize a twin-turbocharged V8 engine from the South Korean carmaker. The car will make its international debut in 2026, likely at the WEC season opener, with the entry coming over to IMSA a year later. Meanwhile, the GMR 001 will be run by the Genesis Magma Racing team, and we will likely see 2 cars racing full-time at first. Number 9. Glickenhaus. So far, this is the only hypercar program that no longer exists, but back in its day, it was still a cool project. During its time in motorsport, Glickenhaus's car, named the SCG 007 LMH, only raced in the World Endurance Championship, and not in IMSA, despite Glickenhaus being interested in the GTP class. The car was based around the LMH regulations, didn't feature a hybrid component, and it had a Pipo Motors 3.8-liter twin-turbocharged V8 engine. Glickenhaus was the first manufacturer to commit to the regulations of Le Mans Hypercar, and the SCG 007 made its competitive debut in 2021 at the 6 Hours of Portimao, and the car's last race was the 2023 6 Hours of Monza. Throughout the program, the car achieved a few good results, with the highlight being an overall podium finish at the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 2022. And mainly, there was just one Glickenhaus that raced full-time. However, a second car would come for additional events, like Le Mans for example. Meanwhile, the entries will be run by the team of Scuderia Cameron Glickenhaus, in collaboration with the famous squad of Yost Racing. Next at number 10 is Isotta Fraschini. Like Glickenhaus, unfortunately, Isotta Fraschini isn't racing anymore with their hypercar. However, they could return in the future. Isotta Fraschini only competed in the WEC and didn't race in IMSA, as in fact the manufacturer wouldn't be allowed to race because of the 2,500 road car rule. Isotta Fraschini's car, which is called the Tipo 6 LMH Competizione, is based around the Le Mans Hypercar regulations, does have a hybrid component, and features a HWA-developed Isotta Fraschini 3.0-liter single-turbo V6 engine. The Italian hypercar made its international debut in 2024 at the Qatar 1812 km event, and its last race so far was the Rolex 6 Hours of Sao Paulo the same year. During the season, Isotta Fraschini only had one car competing, and at the time, the entry was run by the French squad Duquesne. But after the round in Brazil, the organizations parted ways, which forced Isotta Fraschini to end their season early. Number 11. Lamborghini. The Italian manufacturer currently competes in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, but doesn't race in the WEC, although they did race in the hypercar class in the past. Their car, known as the SC63, is built around the LMDH regulations, has a Ligier-made chassis, has a hybrid, and features a 3.8-liter twin-turbocharged V8 engine. The SC63 made its international debut in 2024 at the WEC season opener of the Qatar 1812 km, and currently just one Lamborghini races in 2025, but the LMDH only competes part-time. The single entry is run by Riley under the banner of the Italian manufacturer's in-house brand of Automobili Lamborghini Quadricorse. Next up at number 12 is Peugeot, and the French manufacturer currently races in the World Endurance Championship, but they haven't expanded into IMSA yet. Peugeot's 9X8 hypercar, which was recently updated to include a rear wing, is based around the Le Mans hypercar rule set. It also features a hybrid, and it has a 2.6-liter twin-turbocharged V6 engine. The 9X8 hypercar made its competitive debut in 2022, with the car's first race being that year's 6 Hours of Monza. Currently, just two Peugeot 9X8 hypercars compete full-time in the WEC, and both are entered by the Peugeot Total Energies team. Number 13. Porsche. The German marque races in both the WEC and IMSA with their prototype, known as the 963. The Porsche car is based around the LMDH regulations, uses a chassis from Multimatic, has a hybrid, and features a 4.6-liter twin-turbocharged V8 engine. The Porsche 963 made its debut in 2023 at the Rolex 24 at Daytona, and since then it has been one of the cars to beat, having secured multiple achievements like championships in both Hypercar and GTP in 2024, and it secured victories at the Rolex 24 at Daytona in the last 2 years. Currently, 7 Porsche 963s race full-time, with an additional 8th car expected to come over for the 24 Hours of Le Mans exclusively. As of right now, 3 teams run the entries in the championships. 5 cars are brought by the factory squad of Porsche Penske Motorsport, which includes that additional one-off entry for Le Mans. Then there is 2 entries from Proton Competition, one for the WEC and the other for IMSA. And finally, the last 963 is for IMSA use exclusively, and that entry is from JDC Miller Motorsports. On to the next one, and at number 14 is Toyota. Arguably the most successful hypercar on this list, the Toyota entry, named the GR010 Hybrid, has been the dominant car in the WEC over the last few years. However, the prototype hasn't graced the IMSA grid just yet. The Toyota GR010 Hybrid is based around the Le Mans hypercar regulations. It also features a hybrid and is powered by a 3.5-liter twin-turbocharged V6 engine. The GR010 was the first car on this list to hit the track, as following a successful LMP1 program with the TS050 and previous models, the Japanese constructor joined the hypercar grid with their brand new entry in 2021 for the very first race of the season, which was the 6 Hours of Spa-Francorchamps, and the only other car on the hypercar grid at the time was the Alpine LMP1 entry that I mentioned earlier. Currently in 2025, 2 GR010s race full-time, as they have done for the last 5 years they've competed, and both entries are continuing to be operated by the Toyota Gazoo Racing Squad. Finally, at number 15 is Vanwall. The third boutique brand on this list currently doesn't run in motorsports right now, but they are determined to make a comeback very soon. Back when Vanwall did race though, their hypercar only competed in the World Endurance Championship, and not over in IMSA. Their car, which is named the Vanderval 680, is based around the Le Mans hypercar rule set, and doesn't have a hybrid. Previously, the car used a 4.5-liter V8 engine from Gibson, but now the car will be using a 3.8-liter twin-turbocharged V8 engine, which in fact is the same powertrain that's in the Glickenhaus. For those unaware, to be clear, this is not the same company which competed in Formula 1 back in the 1950s, and won the first ever Constructors' Championship, as this Vanwall company was actually rebranded from the name by Collis, which was a racing team that competed in endurance racing events like Le Mans in the LMP1 category until 2020. The Vanwall Vanderval 680 made its competitive debut in 2023 at the 1,000 miles of Sebring, with the final events so far being that year's 8 Hours of Bahrain, and during 2023 only one car was entered, and it was operated by the squad of Floyd Vanwall Racing Team. So that completes a breakdown of all of the 15 hypercar programs that have either existed in the past, present, or future. Which hypercar is your favorite from this list? Well, make sure to let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like endurance racing, definitely subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because I'm releasing videos on a weekly basis regarding the WEC, IMSA, Intercontinental GT, and much more. To watch more content now, check out these suggested videos I've put on screen. For now though, that's all from me. Thanks for watching.